Good day, fellow geeks. On this week's episode of Geeks of Azeroth, Blizzard apologizes for a rocky launch, WoW has a few more players, and the Molten Core seems to be hurting people, and a lot more on this week's Geeks of Azeroth. How's it going, everybody? My name's Tarly, and welcome to the show. And with me, as always, we've got Zool and Britza. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good.
Not too bad. You guys
better than last week.
Well, let's start off the week by talking about how everyone's been in Azeroth. We'll start with you, Zool.
All right. I still have yet to hit 100.
Boo.
I'm at 95. But only in the second zone in Gorgrund on the Horde side. A few different reasons. I'm only that far. One is I decided to upgrade my video card this week. It was much needed. But during that process of uninstalling and reinstalling new drivers, it corrupted my USB drivers. And then my computer wouldn't even boot. And then it finally started booting up, but I couldn't get past the logging into Windows because the USB drivers were corrupted and it wouldn't recognize a mouse and keyboard. I eventually got it working by going totally old school and using, the PS2, like the different, the old, it's like the PS/2 hookups, the old round keyboard hookups. So I got one of those old keyboards, but I didn't have a mouse, so then I had to navigate completely by keyboard and eventually got everything working with the new video card, and it's all going good now. But that took up some time. And then there was this other game about mythological flying lizards and this era named after them, and yeah.
So it's kind of the Age of Dragons?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And that, fellow geeks, is why it's always best to install new hardware with a fresh operating system.
Yeah.
All right, Britza, how about you? How was your week?
A little bit more tech savvy, thankfully. Otherwise, it's been, I guess in terms of in-game, it's been pretty busy, mainly because I've finally got to 100, so I'm happy. But, thank you. But it's like a week in, not to say, Zor, I'm totally with you. I felt rushed to get to 100. There was stuff I was like, okay, I need to get on, but this story I'm missing, and it wasn't as paced as I would have liked it, because I felt like I was really trying to get to 100. But when I got there, I'm really sort of trying to get stuck in now to everything. And there's a lot going on. There's still a lot of content out there, but with the anniversary and races around the corner, it's getting ready for that. But alts are next.
Yep. Speaking of alts.
Yep.
So this week I have my second level 100, just like I promised you guys I would last show. My monk is 100 and halfway PvP geared. Pretty fun.
Oh, I can't believe it. I have one piece of PvP gear on my main. I've been spending hours on it.
I love how the new gear system works for PvP. It's very rewarding if you're actually doing well. It's good.
If you're Horde.
Well, I'm Alliance actually, so it's surprisingly going well. But basically, the strongbox thing has been introduced to the game. So aside from the normal, if you win, you get 175 honor, and if you lose, you get 50. You get a strongbox based on your team's participation. So, and it's usually unlike most of the point-based games, like a capture the flag game. If your team only got one capture, you get a bronze strongbox, 2 silver, 3 gold. And even out of a bronze one, you have a chance of getting loot. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's nice that it's based on participation. Mm-hmm. That idea that, we talked a couple of weeks ago about how Heroes of the Storm has this nice little, if you leave, you get punished sort of thing. Well, this is just a nice little, you stay, you get rewarded system. It's really sort of positive.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot less people leaving because they just want their strong boxes. I mean, you have a chance of honor or even possibly conquest gear, which is that's rare. I haven't seen that, but it can happen.
You said last week, though, if I'm right, you were worried that people would still go AFK. Are you finding that?
I find it when we're losing terribly, like, and which is common
They're
for
like, eh.
it's common for the Alliance and Battlegrounds to just have those where your whole team's just not participating. So,
I had that in Astra, and I went round a corner because I thought, oh, this battle looks pretty intense, but we're about to lose, so I better just go around the corner and pause it out. I go around and I found 10 other players hiding in a tower. Just sitting there thinking, what's going on here?
we don't want to die.
Please help us.
Well, let's get into our like what we plan to discuss here today. So, first off, into our World of Warcraft news. World of Warcraft announced it has a few subscribers.
Just a few more.
Just a few more.
Yeah.
100?
What was that? What was that number, Britza?
I think the actual official figure is we're now up to 10 million subs.
10 million subscribers. I wish I had a cheering emote to play right now because that is
Right?
amazing. We haven't seen that since Cataclysm.
And what did we guess would be?
I think we said like 8 million, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I didn't Miss briefly get up to 10 when it first launched.
No, actually.
I thought it
Really?
brief.
I thought it was around 9.
It might have done. It might have done. If I think
Maybe.
so, you might be right.
I think they
Briefly.
did, but they weren't as low as we were, so it wasn't as big of a jump to get there.
We were at like an all-time low since Classic
Yeah.
players at the 6.8 million back in the summer, and now up to 10 million. That's crazy.
It's insane. I
It's
don't.
up 4. I think Zul, you're right. I think it went from 9 million to 10 million, which is almost expected when you think about a new game to bring
Yeah.
new people.
Like
This
that's
is
like, oh, nice little bump, and this is like, boosh.
I mean, they sold over 3 million copies on launch day, so that's not including anybody who pre-ordered it. That's
Yeah.
3 million just
Which
on
was
launch
probably
day.
millions as well.
Yeah, so this is really good to see this many people coming back to the game. So if you're wondering why the servers were crashing repeatedly, it's
There
because
you
10
go.
million people were trying to log in and play. Which kind of is probably disappointing to all the people who were returning after years. I'm like, well, we still can't play the game.
Well, it's because you're
No.
only coming back when it's popular.
I mean, from everybody I've seen on YouTube and stuff who had taken a break during Mists of Pandaria and are coming back to the game, they're all loving what they're playing. So, which is, of course, I mean, it's fantastic.
I don't think I don't. I always wonder if I'm going to see in the chat someone saying, "God bless you, you've ruined this game," but it never
Yeah,
materializes.
I haven't seen that. I've seen people complaining about their class, but that's because they're bad.
Except mages, they
They
need to be
just
buffed.
aren't good.
No, rogues need to be nerfed. So do druids. Come on, Blizzard. Well, basically, you guys, Zul, in your leveling experience and Britza being 100, what would you rate this one compared to other expansions? Zul, what would you say?
As far as leveling goes, I mean, I haven't hit the max yet, but it's probably my favorite as far as leveling goes. I mean, we've yet to see the end game, but right now it's sitting as my favorite expansion yet.
Yeah. What about you, Britza?
I think yeah, I have to agree. It's probably the best experience leveling, mainly because I felt like I've seen all the story, or as much of the story as I could see in one playthrough. Obviously, there's decisions that you choose that affect the story and where you go, but I don't feel like there are 20 or 30 or 40 quests out there that I just missed, like the old vanilla Burning Crusades, Lich King days. But saying that, I think there's something in that. That everyone is on the same page in terms of lore, which is nice. I really do like that. I don't feel like there's something that other people have experienced that I haven't that's going to perhaps get referenced sometime later.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And also, it's just been so well paced and well set out. The stories have all linked into each other. The zones have all flowed into each other. You haven't had to make those awkward decisions about which zone do I go to next, so it's been really, really amazing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the story has been so good, and it's like you get stuff referenced in the next zone of what happened in the last zone, so there is that definite feel of a continuing storyline, and obviously with the cutscenes and stuff, the story just feels great. And then having done it twice now, I still don't feel like it's boring at any rate. it's still enjoyable and feels fresh to play through. So,
Were you making
really
new
good.
decisions,
Uh,
like different choices?
Yeah, I built like the complete opposite in each zone of what I did the first time, so I could at least see what benefits that was. And yeah, it was. I really liked Nagrand riding around, just constantly mounted. That was really cool.
What about the? Well, actually, no. I was going to say, what about in general the taking the whole story as a whole? How do we feel about that as compared to other stories that have been told in other expansions? Do we feel like this, obviously we haven't seen the full thing yet,
Right.
but do we feel like the story that's been told is one that was worthy of waiting 2 years for so far?
Absolutely, I'd say.
And regardless of whether people think it's the best story of any of the expansions, I think it's the best told.
Yeah.
Like just the way that it's told throughout the zones, with dialogue with NPCs, the quest text itself, and like you said, the cutscenes. It's definitely been told the best, regardless if it actually is the best story.
Yeah, it's really good. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Moving on, unless you guys have anything else you want to say about your leveling experience?
No.
No?
Can we have
That's been
heirlooms?
Right? 90 to 100 heirlooms besides the weapon, that'd be nice. So moving on, the anniversary event has officially started as of yesterday. And it is really okay.
Really okay.
I mean, it's really great. I mean, it can't believe it's been 10 years of Warcraft, or World of Warcraft. 20 years of Warcraft, which is even more
1,000
incredible.
years of Warcraft.
Yes. But yeah, 10 years of WoW. That's unbelievable. But Molten Core, LFR, have either of you had a chance to try it?
Nope,
No.
not 100 yet.
Tell us, Tali. Is it as good as I hear?
So imagine you get all the mechanics of classic Molten Core. Then you throw in 40 people who are not talking to each other, and a lot of them who have just hit 100 and don't know how to play their class. Let's throw them all together into this semi-difficult raid and have them have fun.
It's a great idea.
I believe this was
Love
Blizzard's
it.
way of killing the want for 40-man raids again.
Probably.
I mean, yes, it has all the problems of LFR, but it is worth it for that Molten Core mount. It is a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
It looks
That's
huge
what
in some of the
I've
photos.
heard.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it feels pretty cool to be going up and fighting Ragnaros again, but when everybody's just swimming around in the lava, like, hey, this is fun. You're not helping.
That great. Mm-hmm.
Is it a post Firelands version of Molten Core? I don't remember if I checked.
It is
the
the
story
original Molten Core.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Where you got the room full of the core hounds that everybody just likes to pull all at once. And everybody
That's
wipes.
the best way to do things.
And that's the best way to do it. You've got 39 people with you, and they're keen to get through it. Just pull what you want. They'll catch up.
Right, it totally works that way. You don't have to worry about
It'll end
mechanics.
very well.
Oh, is that-
But my favorite thing is when we would all be wiping, but people would keep running in before the entire group would die. So then the ads would just run to the entrance and just start killing everybody as they run in. It's just
Oh joy.
so it is worth. I'm very surprised I spent an hour in there trying to complete it.
Well,
That's
I
not-
read one article that said it took them 2 hours.
Yeah, I saw another
I've heard
person took them
longer.
4. So really depends on the group. I had all tanks from my guild, so at least the tanks knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But as long as you can get a fairly competent group and get through it reasonably quickly, the mount was worth it. And you get a item level 640 helmet at the end as well.
That's it. And I mean, that's a massive boost up, considering I think the highest gear anyone could attain is 640. So really, it's
Yep, 640
It's the highest
challenge mode gear. So So yeah, I mean, other than that, there's the Taran Mill versus South Shore Battleground, which is hilariously entertaining to say the least. Like you don't get, there's no reward for doing it. It's besides an achievement. It's just really fun. It's a 40v40 death match.
That's insane.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to check that out, even though I don't really PvP.
And I had an alliance group that I was with. We decided to pull some military maneuver that I keep forgetting the name of. But me and half the group split off, ran around this massive death pile, and then we made a alliance horde sandwich and killed them all. It was hilarious.
It wasn't
Nice.
a Schlieffen plan, was it?
What?
It wasn't a Schlieffen plan, was it?
I've never heard that term
Oh,
before.
fair enough. I won't go into it then.
But so the battleground's just entertaining, to say the least, and it lasts forever because you're trying to get 500 points or so, and you have half an hour, so it's fun.
It's interesting that when we talk about PvE, 40 man, oh no, that's terrible. But when we start talking about PvP content, it's like 40 man, yeah.
That's
It
80,
works
man.
as long-
Yeah, it's 40 versus 40.
and it works as long as you've got antisocial people on the other end as well. That really works.
Keep in mind, if you don't have a high-end PC, you're gonna lag. Like even I'm lagging when I get into the middle of that 40v40
I bet.
because
Holy
it's
cow.
just warlocks doing Rain of Fire constantly. So
Over.
Maybe that's the
and
tactic.
over.
Maybe you've just got to overload your opponent's PC.
That's the goal. That
haha,
is the
they're
goal.
getting 2 frames per second. We can kill them.
Now we can win because we made them lag out. I like that as the strategy. That's a good strategy.
All right, so just go on your tunes that have the most colorful spell effects and throw those constantly.
I would love to see that and like a world championship esports that just play that and the final is decided because the other team just makes the other lag out. That would be the best thing ever.
I think that's what they were trying to do at the StarCraft tournament at BlizzCon.
It's shock and awe.
All right, so moving on from the anniversary, since neither of you guys have played it. Back to another point about the questing real quick. Can I talk about the end of the Nagrand scene yet?
How does Zul feel about it?
Have you seen it, Tom?
I haven't. No, I got kind of halfway through Nagrand. This is tough.
I know, right? 'Cause
Okay, yeah, well, I'll give you guys another week, but then I'm talking about it.
Cool.
Okay,
Right, we'll agree
I will
a truce.
do it. I'll do it this week, or it's my own fault.
Yeah.
There we
Because
go.
I just have to talk about that.
Wait, this is Thanksgiving week. What am I talking about?
Oh, wait, yeah. So 2 weeks from now. You should have plenty of time, Zool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we've completed it with our 17th alts.
Oh, and by the way, that next episode will be our 20th episode of Geeks of Azeroth.
True.
Mm.
I
Big
think Tom has some, or Britza, I always call you by your real name. I think Britza has some plans in store.
I have some plans on the horizon. I think as we start to get nearer to the podcast's legal drinking age, I think we should start doing some special things.
And now the podcast is completely
So that
drunk.
yes, the 21st the 21st episode will be us at night drinking. Well, it'll be morning. Do you like getting
don't
drunk in the
drink,
morning,
so-
Britza?
I don't know. But no, there's some fun things we've got planned. But anyways, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're we're off schedule. Okay, so we're gonna talk about heroic dungeons. Again, have you had a chance to try them out, Britza?
Not the heroic, but I'm working towards them. I'm on the cusp of them.
Have you done
but
normals?
I have, yes. All
And
of them.
what do you think? What do you think of them?
It's surprisingly challenging on a normal front. I'm really, I think more because of the item squish and the stat squish, because the numbers are simply lower, certain encounters are taking longer. And because encounters are being, not dragged out, but because they're being extended, like per group, you have to think. It's almost like just bringing the numbers down has brought a bit of that vanilla thinking.
You mean
back
we
into
have to do
things.
mechanics?
Yes, effectively.
You can't just
which
base
is really
roll this
messing.
stuff.
You
That's
just can't AoE
ridiculous.
everything. And admittedly, I've caused problems where I need to get my tactic brain back on sometimes. But no, I'm really, really enjoying them. One thing that's hit about me is I love the story that's really at the heart of all of them. And there's some really good use of some cinematic stuff, but generally speaking, you go into these dungeons and you know what's going on. It's the thing I said about myths, was that you went into these dungeons and you just didn't know who was what or why was where, and you just went in and basically you on the mentality of I just kill these things. Now you're actually invested in the story. You know what's going on. They're filling you in as you go along, and it works. It works so much better.
As far as normal dungeons that you've done, Zool, how do you feel about them?
I've enjoyed them quite a bit, and I enjoy having the little daily quests you can get from a garrison in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cool.
If you build the inn.
Yes, if you build the inn. And so it gives me a reason to go, wait, no, I'm going to go run it. I'm going to get this nice little bonus.
Yeah.
But I've run into the same thing where it's like, oh, we actually have to think about this and, not just face roll through everything, even leveling through the regular dungeons. The first time I ran a dungeon, we went in there and the tank was just running and pulling stuff.
Yeah, that does not work.
And we wiped, and the tank slowed down, and we did fine.
Yeah.
But we kind of realized, oh, wait.
This isn't Miss Pandaria.
Yeah.
I myself, having a chance to do normals, heroics, and challenge modes, I love the different scaling between the three. Heroics feel rather difficult at first, and then and I've been steadily doing them with my guild, which I highly recommend everybody that you just get a group of 5 people together where you're all communicating, and it'll go really smoothly, and you're all getting gear together and stuff like that. But once you're pretty much heroic geared, then the heroics feel pretty smooth, and you're going through them at a pretty good pace, and then it's time for challenge modes, and oh my god, I didn't realize what challenge modes were in this expansion, but they're basically the next tier up. You can get 540 item level gear, which is equivalent to Raid Finder, but you cannot do them with pugged people. It's almost impossible.
Wow.
Just because the mechanics will one-shot you. Like, if you stand in the fire arrows on Iron Docks, you're dead. Simple as that.
Well, that's a game mode I won't be playing ever.
Right. I mean, it's like there is the incentive to try and get gold for the gear and stuff and the achievements, but really, I mean, just running them to get bronze and get gear off the bosses is incentive enough. It's just a new difficulty that you're running through, and man, it's like Cataclysm heroics. If I could compare them to anything.
Jeez. Well, I guess that's a really good thing, because that's what Blizzard was after, wasn't it?
Yep.
Challenging encounters. I mean, it goes back to Casa when people were saying it was too easy, and then it just got incredibly difficult. At least it seems a nice balance.
Right. Like there's 3 levels of things you can do now. So if you want easy, do normals. If you want a good steady challenge, do heroics. And if I want something that's really difficult, then challenge mode it is. Especially if you're going for gold. Like, that just feels out of reach.
Wow. It's incredible.
But I have to agree with you guys. I love the storyline that is put in all the dungeons. Feels really good.
What about the sort of the pace of the encounters? Like, the thing I've thought is that bosses are really well spread out. I'm trying to think of examples, but you'd find, perhaps, I'm thinking of a couple of Lich King dungeons in particular. Is it a Guard Keep? I'm trying to remember, where you'd encounter one boss and then you'd almost feel like you're going on a marathon to the next boss. In these encounters and these dungeons, the next boss is literally just a little bit around the corner, and yeah, you have some reasonable sized groups to take on, but you're not literally having to head to the other side of the map in most circumstances.
Except for Iron Ducks.
It's not for Iron Ducks. We are literally having to go to the other side. Or Grimbrow. I guess a lot of them you haven't head to the other side. But it just feels like you're not running as much.
Right.
That's the nice thing.
Right, yeah.
It's more fighting, less running, and that's what I really like.
I also just like the boss fights in general. Like, the mechanics, just each one feels solidly different from the other, and none of them are a tank and spank, which I quite enjoy.
You've got to think.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't understand, but...
I think it's as well, because my add-ons haven't been updated yet. I haven't got as many blaring lights yet. So I'm actually having to do a lot more of the interaction myself, and I'm having to
You're
look
like,
at
I have to figure it out and pay attention.
Yeah, that's it.
What is this?
I can't just click and do the rest. But
Well, one
no.
thing you could do is zoom all the way out, turn the view to overtop, and then click to move on. So just pretend you're playing Diablo. Then it's really easy to move out of mechanics.
Ah. Steal it from another game. I like it.
Yeah. I just like that that's an option.
What about your favourite dungeons so far? Like, what's been your favourite? Charlie.
Shadow Moon Burial Grounds. That one's really cool.
Why's that?
I like the lore behind it. Honestly, I think Ner'zhul is one of my favorites of all the people there. So, yeah, that's why I like that one so much. And as a Death Knight, you get bonus quests from the Innkeeper to learn the power of Ner'zhul.
Cool
Really?
stuff.
Yeah. Of how he became the Lich King, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's incredible. What about you, Zul?
Well, I've only played two of the dungeons, so.
Which of your two is the favourite?
I've played the what is it? The mine.
Blood Maw?
Yeah, and then the shipyard, right? Is the
Iron
second
Docks,
one?
Yep.
Out of those two, I'd probably say the shipyard. I like the more open feel. I don't like feeling like I'm inside the whole time.
Yeah. I like that one as well, except for all the trash. So much trash in that one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the reason it took me a while to think about it. I was like, there was a lot of trash in that one, though.
But at the same time, I think one thing I really liked Iron Docks, but because while you're doing that trash, there's that fun little narrative going on between the boss and his sort of deputy.
Yeah.
It's like a little comedy.
Fire at them! Oh, I'm out of ammunition!
Exactly. But one of the ones Upper Blackrock Spire would be an easy one, mainly because that nostalgia kicking in. You're seeing these zones, you're like, oh, I've been here before, I remember this, and like the encounters are almost tuned to sort of recreate that thought back to when we played it originally. But I would say probably the one I've had the most interest with is the I'm going to forget it now. The one with the plants.
Everbloom.
Everbloom, that's it. I don't know why, but I just liked the idea of it just felt really well paced. You were moving around into different areas of it, but at the same time, that final encounter was I think it was really fun.
Yeah.
Wiped horrendously on it, but it was fun.
I quite enjoyed doing the Leroy achievement on Upper Blackrock Spire. That one's really cool. Basically, all you have to do is before you kill the second boss in there, and then you go and find his body in the corner and you resurrect him. Then you have 15 minutes to go up to the next level and kill everything, and then kill the next arena-style boss, or else Leroy will shout, "Leroy Jenkins!" and run and pull everything and die. So the point of the achievement is to let him get those shoulders that he was supposed to get back in the day.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yep, and once he gets them, you get the achievement, and then he becomes a follower in your garrison.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yep. But it's so cool because it's his voice, too. He says a bunch of things, so I think Blizzard got him to voice over his part, and it's really cool.
That's awesome. I love when they do stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's really cool to do that achievement. So once you're able to do heroics, you should get a group together and try and do that, because it's totally worth it.
Definitely. It's a must-do, isn't it, really?
And it's not too hard to clear all of that in 15 minutes, but it's really funny if you don't, just to see him go and pull everything and die.
Poor Leroy.
Indeed.
At least he's got chicken.
Moving on from there, have you guys found it difficult, or I guess, Britza, have you found it difficult to get to a 615 item level?
Yes. but not for necessarily difficulty with the encounters or getting into dungeons, things like that. It's not that. there's some really good guides on places like Wowhead in particular that have some really good sources for where to sort of progress towards that 640 eye level, because you do have to stagger it, and Blizzard has been really good at sort of building up a staggering system where if you want to keep increasing your eye level, you almost have to dip into almost every aspect of the game at some point. But the thing I'm finding now is jumping ahead probably slightly in respects to garrison missions, which reward like 615 rewards. My followers are nowhere near good enough to get anything above like a 15% success rate, which is huge. It will always be something where it'll be a 3 follower mission, and I'll drag one follower in, it'll be 0%. Drag the next follower in, 0%. Drag the third one in, 15%. I'm like, I like those odds. But no, I think the hardest thing has been queue times have been a little bit longer than perhaps people would have liked.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially as a DPS.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're averaging about a 35-minute wait, which isn't too bad, but at the same time, it has been quicker in previous expansions. But saying that, I think the biggest problem is that 615 is the requirement, and like it's a bit like how Siege of Orgrimmar worked. 520, no, it wasn't 528. Sorry, it was 4. I can't remember what the requirement was, but the gear that people were getting was that particular eye level. Yeah. So naturally, if you've got one thing that's lower than that, the average is going to drop.
Yeah.
So you're trying to constantly get stuff that's over the eye level to try and balance you out and drag you up. Like just grab that 640 piece, like MC. That's what MC Molten Core is doing for everyone, is that it's dragging their averages above the 615, which helps them get through. I just haven't got into that yet, and because you can't get into Molten Core without 615 eye level, so it's just it's difficult to try and get those averages up because you have to really get all sorts of bits. And I tell you what, so many cloaks have dropped. It's ridiculous. 615 cloaks. My legendary is 616. I'm just sitting there going, this is an absolute joke. I must have sold about 7 cloaks in my questing and dungeon experience.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, it's so nice being level 100 because you have. And I'm sorry, Zul, you'll get there eventually, buddy.
Rub it in.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
It's just I log on every day, and there's just so much. Oh, I could go do this. I could go farm for the mount quests for my stables, or I could, just being in the garrison. There's so much you can do, and you just feel like you're not limited to just, I just have to do heroics to get gear, or I just have to do battlegrounds for honor gear. No, you have so many options. That's what I love probably the most about this expansion, is I'm not bored and feeling grinded out on one particular mechanic of the game.
No, and also one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you guys as well have noticed this as well, is that in respects to crafting items in particular, the professions have been opened up. I've never been a profession guy before, mainly because I've never really had the patience to deal with it. Now that I've buildings and I've got this just accessibility in my garrison, I'm suddenly invested in what I can make, and so naturally I've taken tailoring because I'm a mage. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, what gear can I make? And it's there in front of me. I've learned 2 of the 640 recipes. I literally just have to get the stuff, and it's literally just a case of getting the hex weave cloth. And I can't believe that literally if I keep doing my missions, in 2 weeks I'm bound to have at least those 2 items that I've learned. So it's almost like if you think about it realistically, if you're playing the game, it's just merely a question of time and just making sure you're giving that little bit, like you say, just putting that little bit of time to keep the game ticking over in the background, and you can just reap the rewards at the end of it. And in this case, it's huge eye level gear.
Yeah. Zul, have you spent a lot of time with your garrison, like trying to see what's going to be best for you, kind of thing like that?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely head back there, every now and then to collect what my followers have gotten from their quests and send them back out, and to check on my work orders. And I'm the same way as you, Tom, or Britza. We're all gonna do that.
I don't mind.
I'm the same way, where I never really did professions much, and now I was like, well, I need to go make sure I have my professions, and because it's going to be a boost, and I'm going to be using the buildings anyways, so why not get the most out of them, type of thing. And so, I'm working on professions, and since all the professions you can get items that automatically boost you, That's really helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in the garrison and I've been trying to figure out which buildings I want. And for me, I'm kind of less worried about like what's going to make me the best raider, because I do plan on raiding, but I'm not going to be like bleeding edge, must have every advantage I can.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking more about like, well, what gets me cool stuff. So I'm going to be going for like the buildings that get me transmog gear and all that kind of stuff, just because it's fun to have.
That's kind of how I've approached the whole situation. Like, even though I do plan on raiding, it's kind of like we talked about a few episodes before the expansion came out, that garrisons aren't a primary way to get gear, because a lot of the raid level gear will come later after you've worked a lot on stuff. So it's kind of like a catch up mechanism for raid gear. So I've spent a lot of time just like, I built the bunker so I can get that really cool transmog gear. It's so awesome. You can look like Black Hand. But yeah, that's how I've spent my time. Just kind of having fun with the garrison, trying to get mounts from these stables, stuff like that. What about you, Tom? Britza?
To be honest, I've given up. No, with garrisons, I'm currently working towards the level 3 upgrade for the town hall, or whatever it will be. I imagine it'll be something like a keep by the end of it.
Yeah.
So I'm about, well, when I left, I had 1,600 garrison resources, probably about 1,700 given the quest. So probably a day or two, it'll be upgraded.
Yeah.
So when I've got there, at the moment I've got the barn, mainly because that provides the furs, which I can then use for the tailoring. I've got the enchanting one, which I can't remember the exact name of it, but yeah, I'm thinking as well about getting the dwarven bunker, because I just love the idea of transport. And I think that, just touching on what you guys have said, you can look at some of the stuff like the raid specific bonus and things like that, but their chances, everything it seems that's almost like a utility in the game, like giving you extra some of those reroll tokens and so on and so forth. You get small chances of getting those. Well, no, the reroll token you will get, but what I'm saying is it's not anything you couldn't get at a later stage. So, but there's no raider who could get that transmog option unless he builds the bunker. So in a way, you can either build your garrison to give you a better chance in raiding, or you can build it like you guys seem to be doing, and what I will probably be doing as well, in order just to make the game just a bit more fun and enjoyable.
And if you really want to, you can always get that stuff, and then you can swap your buildings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you've got that much money.
Exactly. If you have the resources to do that, then you.
I had the inn while I was leveling, just so I could get the dungeon quests, and then I was like, well, I don't need you anymore.
It's 5,000 gold as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
5,000 gold. Yeah.
And it took forever to upgrade to a tier 3, like just getting all those resources. But once you do that, then you get all the plots, and it's a lot more decisions to be made. But I like that a lot, though, and there's so much customizability for how you can play WoW, and that's really cool. And I finally figured out from last week how to assign your followers to buildings. They have to have a specific perk that allows them to work in the specific building, and then that building has to be upgraded to tier 2. I understand.
I will tell you. I'll tell you guys very quickly a story I've had on that. I also discovered how you assign followers. So naturally, I thought, oh wow, my tailoring building is level 2. I'll go and see which followers I have that have that skill. None of them have that skill. None of the 19 of my current followers have tailoring. So I thought, well, I've got this nice little token thing that allows me to reroll the perks on a character. So I thought, well, there's bound to be a chance that I can get this. So instead, I used it on one character, and instead of having something that I think it was one of the perks that it's like Cave Dweller or something like that. So I thought, oh, this is useless. I don't need this. So I re-rolled it, and I got the perk that means they fight better with Pandaren. No prizes for guessing how many Pandaren followers I have. I'll give you a clue. It's less than 1.
-2.
You're like, great. You're good at working with people that aren't here.
Exactly. You were more used to me before I re-rolled you. Can I go back? So currently, I have not. I need to find a tailor-specific follower. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm screwed.
I'm the same as you. I figured out how to do it, but I don't have any specific ones that I need. So
Yeah, any that fit what you're actually looking for.
yeah, come on, I
You
need an
can use.
enchanter.
Is it the inn? I believe that can recruit followers based on specific
Yes, you can do that,
perks.
but I don't have the inn anymore because I wanted transmog gear.
Can we build a second garrison each? Maybe.
That it would be really nice if you could like send resources back and forth between your alts. I don't believe you can unless
Cool.
I'm mistaken.
Aren't there really quick, speaking of followers, aren't there certain followers that are guaranteed to have certain traits, like to work in certain parts of your garrison?
Yes, if you can find them.
Yeah, so that's the
So,
thing, is you have to figure out which those are and how to get them.
I haven't actually spent a lot of time. Like I just kind of have the ones I got from leveling to 100. So
Well,
and
something to
Leroy,
work on.
I haven't. Yeah, so that's something else to go out and do. I feel like there's just not enough time in the world.
Have either of you
Sorry,
have
Phil.
either of you had any followers as bodyguards yet out in the world with you?
No, I don't have the bodyguard build. What
I-
building do you need for that?
Isn't that
Level
just
2
the
barracks.
Level 2
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't upgraded mine yet, but I don't. I think I probably have one or two characters that have it. But have you? I'm guessing you've managed to do it then.
no?
Oh no. Do you think it's? I've seen a couple of people using it. Is it a massive bonus for questing? Because I've sat there and thought it would be really handy. Like when you're using those perks that summon alliance allies to you and things like that. You sit there and think, well, if I had a permanent one of these guys around, it would make questing a lot easier.
Well,
Mhm.
well, they
So I
get
know-
to use their perks, right? So if you get like a priest follower, then you have a healer with you the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
Oh right.
Yes, and so, or like if you're a mage or something, you can have one of your followers that has taunt, and they can tank for you. And I've heard that the followers are actually pretty strong out in the world.
why did I not do this level?
Yeah.
One of my guildies, that was his plan. He was like, I am gonna like do whatever I need to do to get that as soon as possible, so I can use it to help me level. And he wasn't able to get it till he was level 98. He's like, well, 2 levels. All right,
Okay.
cool.
It
But you
still
can
would be
still-
beneficial.
Yeah, and it can still be beneficial when you're running like the dailies in the level 100 areas
Yeah,
of
definitely.
the zones.
Definitely.
So it's still something to do. It'll help you out for sure.
If you, by the way, if you've been struggling doing the daily where you go out to the level 100 zone, I've learned it's much more beneficial to just like ask people who are there, like anybody want to group up. It goes much faster if you're in a group.
Be social? What are you? That's crazy.
Blizzard has pushed that so much in this expansion, and it is so worth it. I've been more social in this expansion than I've ever been. So definitely worth it.
And that's the thing I've noticed with those level 100 things. You would always find people in the same area, and it's inevitable. You're not going to be the only person there, so you might as well just stick something on general chat and just ask people because they're going to want to do the same thing.
Right, and people are tag mobbing still on, unfortunately. So obviously, it'd be a lot more beneficial for you anyway.
Yeah.
And the level 101 elite rares, they have mechanics. You can't kill them by yourself.
Mechanics?
There was is it Maiden of Sin? I think that's in Shatrath.
Yeah.
She we had a fully heroic, decked out feral druid as our tank. Ran straight into him and hit him for 147k. Gone. But well, okay, time for me to turn invisible and walk away. So that's what I
And
did.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Kind of talked about garrisons quite a bit there. They are so much fun.
They're a huge part of the game, though. To
Yeah.
be honest, especially at level 100s, almost not your entire, but they're huge in getting you where you want to go in wherever that
they're
is,
just-
whether that's PvE, PvP, whatever.
They're just really cool to have. And it, just makes you a central figure. You feel more important, as we talked about before.
Oh yeah, yes, General.
But I know some people are still complaining about them and not liking them, but I've seen a lot of people say, like, I was going in, ready to hate garrisons, and here I am doing all the things, really liking it.
Yeah.
So I think Blizzard's done a great job with it, and they've been very evasive on saying if they're going to continue with them. They basically said it's an expansion thing. We'll see where it goes from there. They better plan on keeping these going forward,
I hope
like
so.
everything.
It's a fantastic addition to the game. I really hope they keep it. I would like the ability to move it. Just saying.
They have said that it's possible they'll add that back in.
Because, I mean, I just want to see where I'm sitting right now here, nice and grand, the beautiful waterfall. I would love my garrison to be right here.
Well, the next expansion could be an underwater one, so maybe we'll have a submarine instead.
Oh, shit.
An underwater base, and it's going to end up like Sphere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
No more underwater zones, please, Blizzard.
Yes, all of it. All 10 levels.
Unless the entire zone is in like a biodome.
That isn't underwater.
No quests, just Naga. That's it. Naga and Murlocs.
And a dance studio. That's there. You guys get what you've been demanding for years. Just a dance studio, Naga, and Murlocs. That's all the expansion is.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Anywho.
Moving on.
that'd be hilarious.
Ashran. Well, Azul, sorry again, a topic that excludes your ability.
That's totally fine. Totally fine.
But, Britza, have you had a chance to head over to Ashran yet?
I have had a chance to head over to Ashran, and what an experience that was.
Yeah.
It was another wonderful experience of watching the Horde absolutely decimate us, which obviously brought back a great sense of nostalgia. I was thankful.
Right, for the Horde.
For the Horde, exactly. I just wanted this setting where I could just join the other team. But no, I've managed to get into it, and it's surprisingly fun. I will say, I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but to those people who, when you heard people like Ryan Halinka saying PvP is going to become more of a fixed system in the game and more of a presence, and there was that big uproar with the cities and where the home faction bases were based and all that. Honestly, Ashran just feels like something you want to be part of. There's so much going on with it all the time.
Mm-hmm. And you really have a benefit when you go there right away for the first time. If you just go around and do all the bonus objective things, that's about 1,500 honor. So, piece of gear right there. But there's so much to do on it. You could be just killing rare mobs or just killing all the NPCs if you're more into PvE stuff. It's because there's still benefits to going there. You can get PvE loot if you try hard enough. It's rare, but it can happen. But just being a part of the center lane, it really feels like a kind of like Blizzard's way of putting a MOBA into WoW. I think this is kind of how they intended that to ever happen. Because you've got the center lane, and you can have NPCs coming in and pushing the lane back and forth to the bases. It's cool stuff.
I think that's probably where they'll look to take their sort of WoW esports.
Yeah,
I can see them doing that because, like you say, it's like a MOBA, but you can get teams of say 20 each side and maybe see where that goes.
Yeah, I just ran into this Retribution paladin this morning who was on this Tauren Ret Pally, and he had the big buff thing that you can get, and he was just killing everybody. I immediately ran away from him. But it's fun to see stuff like that happening, and then the giant tree elemental comes and he's kill everything. It's just a very varied way to play world PvP. It's pretty enjoyable.
That's really cool that they're still trying new stuff after all this time.
Yeah. And the way PvP gear works, it's really nice, even if you're still in your questing greens, that you get bumped up to 650 item level regardless. And then, people with PvP gear get bumped up higher, but yeah. Cool stuff.
On that note, it has become a little bit more apparent that you might find when you're on Ashran, you can't join like Dungeon Finder or Raid Finder.
I feel like that's a bug. I don't think it.
Oh, it might be a bug. Apparently, the rumor was that because your eye level gets bumped up to 650, it just doesn't let you join anything because it can't calculate accurately your actual eye level. So
Yeah.
it just says no to everything until you.
It
Most of the
says
times, I
no.
found
It says no role selected is what it would say
no role
repeatedly.
selected. So it could be a bug, but I found if you leave Ashran, it
Hmm.
should solve it. But
Yep. And it was working previously. Was I had done dungeons to Ashran, so and now it's not working. I think it's bugged. Which you'll notice, there's quite a few things in the game that are still bugged.
It happens.
a little bit.
On
What
that,
have you found?
Oh.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say on just Ashran quickly. How have you felt? I mean, obviously it's again, we talked about story. There's a clear story in Ashran. You go around doing those intro quests, you'll
Yeah.
learn about how the island's formed, and one of the quests is actually going out and sort of seeing it and going out and exploring, which obviously you might not have complete power over. If you've got 40 horde players between you and the entrance, then you're probably not going to get very far. But have you found that, Tali, with the combat and the balancing of teams, do you feel like it's a pretty solid experience?
Oh, definitely. One of my favorite things about it is going out and finding all the random little things that if you do it, you get this buff. Like the jump buff is hilarious. You just have this super jump and it procs, and so that there's just little stuff like that, and the speed boost from clicking one of the slimes. Like, it's awesome. It's something that hasn't been really done before in WoW, so it's really cool and really fun. Azul, are you just from us talking about it? Are you a little bit intrigued? You gonna try it out?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that some of that stuff. I was like, that does sound pretty fun. And like, since they've done those gear changes, I'm not gonna feel like, well, if I want to actually be effective at all, I've got to go do all this other stuff. I can just jump in and check it out.
Yeah, and even if you're just doing the PvE stuff on there, your item level is whatever you have, and it's so cool how it works because it immediately switches the second someone has attacked you for PvP.
It's like, oh, here you go.
Yep. So you're
What have
just
I done?
Good luck.
so you're not going to get ganked. Well, you will. It happens to everybody.
It just won't hurt as much in the
Right.
first few seconds.
That's why you go with friends. Have a group of people, so if another group tries to attack you, you won't be totally screwed like has happened
Plays
to me.
these games with people.
Right? Who plays an MMO together? Like,
That's ridiculous.
And we're not really selling that community thing. Go around in a community because otherwise you will be targeted.
yeah.
Will be destroyed.
Exactly.
At least on
Good little
Ashran,
alliance motto.
that is the case. Because
Sorry, Charlie, I keep interrupting.
no, I mean it just really, if you've never been on a PvP server before, you're gonna be a little bit surprised.
It's incredibly fast paced, I've noticed. But the thing I wanted to ask was with the two big guardians that are on each side.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, I think the Horde one looks absolutely amazing. We've said that when it first got shown, but it genuinely does look amazing. But how have you felt with those being part of the dynamic? Because when I first went to Ashran, it looked like we had a relatively sort of level setting, and then somehow the Horde managed to steal the ogre guy from us. So we started getting beat down from that, and then suddenly, next thing we know, their big Titan guy comes out. And we were literally on the front gates of our base, just absolutely getting hammered for about a good 10 minutes. And someone, I don't know how, managed to summon our guy, and we went straight back at them. And I just really like that sort of ebb and flow to it.
Yeah, one of the first, one of my first times on Ashran, I went in with my guild, and the Horde had us pushed back to our gate, and we're just, come on, what are we gonna do? But we managed to get a couple more people into a party, and we kind of snuck around the backside while the Horde was just beating on us, and we went and released our giant tree guy, and we managed to push them back. So just having those objectives and things that you can do to change the entire course of what's happening, it just makes it feel so fun.
And their health is insane because obviously it's staggered.
It's like a raid boss.
Attacking them.
It's like you get to summon a raid boss to help you fight. That's so cool. And then Swifty comes running out of nowhere because a lot of the YouTubers got their own NPCs in the game. So Swifty come and joined our fight and was just blade storming through all the Horde. Yay!
You're like, what's up?
Cool stuff.
Anywho,
any more on Ashran before we move on?
I will say it is so much fun.
Yeah.
It genuinely is, and it's something like even if you are PvE heavy or you're really just interested in that, just honestly just head over there and just spend 10 minutes. And if you don't like it after 10 minutes, then you'll never like it. I think that's it. But
Right. But
10 minutes can change
it's
it.
definitely worth the try, even if you are primary PvE. Definitely worth the try.
Exactly. And it sounds like the Alliance are winning as well in some cases, which is
In some
like you say,
cases.
Blizzard are making changes.
Yep. Well, it looks like next on our agenda was garrisons, but we already spent quite a bit of time talking about garrisons already.
True.
And then we already have touched a bit out on the story as well. We talked about that in the beginning of the show, but I mean, again, I just want to say how well it's been established across all of everything that you do has a reason. I didn't think Ashran would, but everything you do has lore behind it, and that's the best part.
I will bring up my small pet annoyance with the story. No, not totally terrible, but there is one small thing that got to me, and it kind of became apparent when on the Alliance side got to the Battle of Shatrath. Which have you got to the Battle of Shatrath yet, Zul? Or
No.
not yet? Not yet. So I won't spoil anything, but the thing is, from the Alliance side, you arrive and you meet Khadgar at the gates, and you suddenly realise that Thrall's there with Duratan.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that my brain was shutting down and I was just clicking through the quest without realising, but there wasn't really a context as to why these orcs were here, why Thrall was here, why Duratan was there. And on the other side of it, the cinematics are very self-contained in terms of story. I found they're amazing, they're great to watch, but I just wondered what you guys thought about the fact that, you know, is it Uriel? I'll never be able to pronounce it correctly. I'll always get pronunciations wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her teaming up with Duratan, it looked good in the moment, but obviously from a narrative you have to sit there and go, right, what's the context for them working together? I get, they're both, they're having their fight with he who shall not be named, but the point I'm trying to get at is, the story you seem to be lacking in these. You seem to, it was a cool spectacle. But I just wondered, did you feel that at all, that there were times where it was more showy than telly?
Well, I feel like it fits for what it is, because I feel like we're playing Alliance. We didn't really see why Duratan's there, but we knew why Uriel was there, or whatever her name is, because we've been following her the whole time. And then, like, when we get to that point, it's kind of like a moment of, oh, you're here, but welcome, General. We're just here to brief you what's happening. So you kind of get that sense that you didn't necessarily need to know why they're there. You're just here to fill up your role as the General and lead the army to victory.
And if you play both sides, I wonder if...
Right.
Like, okay, here we go.
I feel like once... Like, if I played through that on Horde, I would completely understand why Thrall and Duratan are a part of this. But we just didn't get that, and we didn't need to, because we don't have to be filled in on everything, because, we're just leading the charge. We're kind of doing our own thing.
I guess that's it.
We're just there to be cool.
Neat.
But, like, I mean, Zula, you've been playing everything in the zone, so, I mean, do you feel like the story, since you have managed to do everything, unlike me who kind of skipped around through the quest line, do you feel like it's very consecutive? And
yeah, I feel like the story has been really good. Like, there's always a reason for why they're going here, why they're doing that. There's a reason why, Thrall is moving from zone to zone with me. It's always like, okay, well, things have settled down here. Let's head on this way. Oh, wait, what's this? And you meet some interesting characters, like the what's the name of the clan in Gorgrond, the Orc clan, the Laughing Skulls?
yeah,
They're insane, but they're awesome. They're so funny. You have, like, their children saying, go murder people. You're like, wait, you're a kid. What? Okay.
yeah.
Can we agree, though, that I guess one thing the story has told us is that nothing, and absolutely nothing, can survive an Iron Star? Yep. I think that's the motto. Iron Stars just wipe
unless you
everything.
are the one inside the Iron Store. Just wait for that, Zool. It's hilarious.
Oh, Iron Stars just rock. This expansion is going to end with an Iron Star to the face. It just has to.
That's how we kill Grom. We just throw Iron Stars at him.
Well, they did say
What
there
is
was
that?
just going to be orcs. They didn't say that there weren't going to be Iron Stars. So I think that's it. I think the final counter is Grom, orcs, and every member of the raid party has an Iron Star. And that's
Yes.
it.
No, not has one. Is one.
Is an
Everyone
Iron Star.
is an Iron Star.
New title, Blizzard.
Warlords of Iron Stars.
I'm all for it.
Can you imagine that? Imagine a cinematic if Aya Bashara is true. Like, imagine if we went back through the portal. You know, the Naga have taken over. Everything's getting tsunamied, and they turn around. The portal activates, and everyone from the expansion just comes riding out in Iron Stars.
Just
Charge!
The Iron Tsunami.
We have
versus
learned
the-
well from the Iron Horde.
nothing will ever be a challenge again.
And it'll just be Gul'dan being, everything is an Iron Star.
Everything. There's been so many funny memes with that.
Yeah.
Like
Gul'dan, what's
ordering
getting
pizza.
buffed?
What do you want, Gul'dan?
Everything.
Oh, poor Gul'dan.
But now we can kind of talk about we're kind of in a stasis period of the expansion where everybody can get geared up, get to 100. I mean, and don't feel bad, Zul, because a lot of people still are not 100. A lot of people are taking their time. A lot of people are playing other games because November is game month. I mean, I feel, because I personally have bought several games and they're sitting on my shelf because I haven't played them. So I will have to take some time to play another game other than Warcraft here soon. But we can talk about what's coming very soon. December 2nd, I believe, is when Heimal, the first raid, opens for normal and heroic difficulties. With Mythic opening the 9th.
With LFR.
Yep, the first wing of LFR opening the 9th.
Yeah, so a little, not too long. It's what, a couple of weeks?
Do you
Less
guys,
than that?
just moving forward, what do you guys plan to do? Are you guys planning on hopping into raids right away? We'll start with you, Zul. What's your goal for the future?
That's one thing that one of the reasons I'm definitely going to focus on trying to level is I do want to be able to jump in with my guild once the raids open up. I've kind of mentioned it before. I won't be able to be there. I think they usually raid twice a week. And then, like, if I remember right, they do twice a week is like progression, pushing. And then once things are settled down, there's a third night that's kind of like, come if you want to. We'll do sometimes they'll just go do transmog runs and old stuff, or they'll just do bosses they have on farm to help gear people.
Yeah.
But I'll only be able to make one or possibly two of the nights. But because of flex raiding, I'll be able to do that. So I do want to be ready, though. So when raids start up, I'm going to try to be ready and at least be doing it once a week.
Yeah. What's great about guilds, especially in that situation for raids, both like Heimal and Blackrock, is there's optional bosses. I love that. So some nights, if you're really just pushing progression, like you've already killed everything else, then okay, we're going straight to this boss. But then on the farm nights, like, okay, now we can go back, kill those optional bosses if we need to, get some people some gear. I think that's a cool addition. What about you, Britza? What are you going to hop into?
Cool, again, tell us. No, I'm very much the same boat. I mean, now, being at 100, I mean, to be honest, I have to agree. Like Zul, I think the story is so important in terms of getting settled into it. I mean, I would have personally liked to have taken a bit longer. And actually, because there's a Grand Quest which I haven't seen, so I guess maybe I'd like to go and finish Nagrand because Garrosh is in Nagrand, and I feel like I'd love to see where that part of the story went. And obviously, we'll talk about that as and when.
There is quite a cool cinematic to be seen.
And that's it. So I think I want to finish the story, while at the same time probably pushing for my rep pally to try and get to 100. Though I don't think that's going to happen by the time. Well, it might. I think I might just be able to do it by the 9th, but I think I've given up on tanking. It's too hostile. It's too hostile.
People are too mean.
They are too mean, and
Jerks.
But I'd love to take him as a PvP character. So I think maybe give that a whirl and see if that works.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely. My guild is set, and we're going to be hopping in on heroic. Well, I don't know if you have to kill normal before you do heroic. We're pretty confident if we do normal, we'll probably push through it pretty well, pretty quick. But yeah, we're gonna start heroic progression right away. Come then the second. So
Wow,
I'm quite excited to get into
you're really
Heimal.
gunning for it.
I am.
What are you going to be pushing with? Are you going to go with the monk or the DK?
I'm
or
on my
both?
DK, primarily as a DPS. I don't want to tank either.
Yeah.
They may bring my monk over to heal. I told them I'll be in PvP gear, but with gearing this time,
Yeah.
it won't be that bad. So, and healing has been really fun so far. Since I'm the only one on my 3v3 team who wants to try healing at all, so I'm the main healer, and it's been definitely different, but I seem to be adjusting well, so I like it. But yeah, I'll be DPSing mainly on my DK through Heimal, and hopefully Blackrock Foundry, whenever that comes out. I think that doesn't come out till January.
Oh yeah, we've got the Christmas season before that, so we've got to go and say, is it Blitzen or whatever the reindeer? Don't we have to save the reindeer each year?
Yep.
Something like that. we've beaten the warlords, now to save a reindeer. God, I feel
Next.
special.
It's important to do.
Yep, absolutely.
What about, I guess, on a separate note, like the garrisons themselves? Like how, just between now and then, are we going to be thinking about just leveling them up?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just what I'm trying to say is there anything in particular we're going to be doing with our garrisons over the next 2 weeks? I mean, I think I'm probably going to try and dip into some of those raid-specific bonuses, but not too much. If anything, I just want to see if I can make sure everything's as high an eye level as I can get it. I'm working my way through the legendary quest as well. I don't know, but Zor, you 98 is that becomes available, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The legendary
So
quest.
I'm not quite there yet.
Right there, but you will be. I know.
Mhm.
Trust me, get it early because I got it late and there's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on getting that going as soon as I'm able to.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I plan on getting my garrison. I want every building to level 3, so that's kind of my goal right now. And that takes a lot
Money
of
and
resources. Yeah. But if you've realized, you can get a lot of money in this game now. Which is very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It shows in the
Yeah,
auction house.
Like, since I used boosted character as kind of my main going in, I didn't have a lot of money because it was all just sitting on my old main. But the money I did have, I've already like doubled how much I had, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I looked at my bag and I was like, "That can't be right. I don't have that much."
Yeah, just quest rewards in general will get you a lot, and then just
Yeah.
everything you do gives you gold, and you can sell a lot of stuff on the auction house, especially with having a good garrison going. So
My client must be broken. I've got no money, really. I must be the only poor person in WoW.
I was poor for a very long time, Britza. You just gotta do professions. That's what it is.
Oh, that takes effort. I like that. It takes thinking.
Wait, I don't just get it handed to me. That's
I want
dumb.
it handed.
And you place bets IRL with people like I've been doing and getting in-game gold that way.
You bet with WoW Gold.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well, we're all kind of, struggling for real world money, but we're all kind of rich in game now. So, let's just bet gold.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
I'm
Several.
seeing a spin-off version of the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
Algramar.
My IRL, me and a few guildmates work together in retail, and we've got the big Black Friday coming up this week. And if you work retail, you're dreading that day.
I'm happy to be out of that. I'm sorry.
It's okay because now we each have 10k gold on the line to see who can sell the most. So,
Ooh.
Interesting.
yes. Incentive.
Yes. I will be sitting at my parents' house in Oregon on that day. So
And it's actually part of a UK pastime that we watch the news and watch you guys suffer and make fun of it.
I wish I could boycott, the whole retail corporate America thing right now if I didn't work for it, because we get to go and work
right?
on Thanksgiving. Like that's just.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the companies that like they still have their Black Friday sales, but they refuse to do the whole starting on Thanksgiving that a lot of companies do.
Yep, I get to go in. Like my whole family, they're doing their thing at like 7 o'clock in the evening. The big Thanksgiving dinner. I have to work at 4 p.m.
Jeez.
until
See,
1 a.m.
that's so lame. Leave it on Friday. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the companies that.
Oh, but I'm ranting. Back to WoW
Yeah,
stuff.
it's all
Sorry,
right. I'm
ranting
right there
about
with
work.
you. I understand because I used to do that. So.
So
Real life problems.
yes.
Meh.
Eh.
Anything else that we're planning to do for the future?
Well, we've talked about the possibility that hopefully after New Year, shall we say, that I'll be setting up an account on the US side of things.
Oh yeah.
So we can try spinning that and seeing once we've crossed that little barrier. So that will be something hopefully coming after New Year. Again, as Christmas looms, I don't want to be spending loads and loads of money. I give Blizzard too much of it, to be honest. So
I already get most of it.
yeah, my paycheck just goes through them, and they just give me what's left. That's
They're just like,
How?
here's what you get. You get like a stipend from them.
it's just another bill, and you're like, oh, wasn't enough.
I'd briefly like to mention something that happened. I can't for the life of me remember his name, nor can I find the article again on the WoW forums. But one of the lead designers on World of Warcraft came out with a public apology for how rocky the expansion was. They clearly stated it was not how they wanted it to go at all.
Contrary to what a lot of people say that are convinced Blizzard just wants to screw them at every turn.
Right. Yes, this is not how they wanted it to go, but they've seen so much tremendous feedback for what the content actually is and how good it is, and they obviously see that in their subscriber numbers. So they were very thankful for that, but very apologetic, and they gave everybody, hey, if your account was active on launch day, you get 5 free days of WoW to make up for the 5 days that you most likely couldn't play very well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's at least that they're willing to give that, and they at least acknowledged the problems that they had and weren't just kind of denying it like a certain company about their game that came out, Ubisoft.
Yeah, it's been I think it's a month of gaming and it's been a week of glitches. Let's leave it there. It's been awful.
I was curious
like
to
you
see
said,
if they'd do this because they've done it in the past. They did it a lot when WoW originally launched.
Yeah.
It's really funny if you look at your WoW account, you can go back and see your subscription history, and it'll show free days that you've gotten from stuff like this in there too. So if I look back to when I first got the game, which was right around launch, I think it wasn't like launch day, but it was within a month of launch, and it has like the 30 free days. And then it's like 1 free day, 1 free day, 3 free days, 1 free day, subscription 30 days, 1 free day, just all over the place because they were having so many issues when they originally launched, keeping the servers up.
And at the end of it, they went, and Mr. Zor, you owe us $30,000.
Right? All the free days we've given you, we said we want you to pay us for those.
Wow.
It's a technical version of the word free. I was genuinely thinking they were going to bring out the Alliance bike for that. I don't know why. I think that was me fishing way too far. But I thought that might.
You get to pay 100 and some odd K gold for it, but yeah.
Oh well.
So final section of the show, Heroes Call, where we have shout outs to the community. Do either of you guys have any shout outs this week?
Shout out to Bloodhoof server EU for not being so hateful this week.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So congrats to us and our Khadgar buddies. No, they're not. It's not like a well known, but for abuse or anything like that. It's just during that sort of glitch week. I think it goes for every server.
Yeah.
Shout out, I guess, to nice people playing WoW, because it was tough. It was tough.
There's been quite a few nice people actually calming down the ragers. I've seen it actually happen. Like people convince people it's not that bad. So
They're like, it's all right.
yeah,
It's okay. We promise.
yeah. What about you, Zul? Any shout outs?
Nothing big this week, really.
Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out to my new guild. You guys are awesome. Thank you for taking me in like you did. I'm blanking on the name, so you can see me pulling it up in the game. Extraordinary Dota Men is the name of my guild because
cool.
a lot of them like to play Dota, so they went with that
I
for a
would
name.
never have guessed.
But yeah, they're a great guild. They took me in and yeah, they immediately accepted me onto their.
Gave me a home. fed
Gave me a
some
home, gave me
sandwiches.
some food.
Nurtured me.
They did. Nurtured me back to my from my homelessness. Very nice.
Look at me and Saul, the cynical antisocial, poking Tali for being accepted into a community.
Yeah.
Well, all the while I sit in a guild that I love being social with.
Yeah. So it had been a while since I had that. Like I went all of Mists of Pandaria kind of just antisocial. Like I had my raiding guild for Siege, but didn't like talking to them. So
I didn't actually like them.
So it's really nice to actually be a part of a community again and just immediately like, yep, you're on our raid roster. Like, hey. So yeah, shout out to them.
Fantastic.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up the show. We went about a little over an hour, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that.
I'm
not
happy
not
with that.
much news yet, besides just what's going on and all the new stuff.
I'm feeling patch information could come relatively soon. I mean, it was
Yeah.
kind of bam bam with Mists of
Getting that
Pandaria.
time. I'd expect. I mean, this upcoming week here in the States is Thanksgiving.
So yeah, no news.
And then the raids start the week after, so I'd expect the week after that, or maybe before then. But that's the first time I'd really expect it.
Yeah,
The
and
week after raids start going live.
also keep in mind Pilgrim's Bounty. There's if you're
Oh, yeah,
if
there's
you're
that
working
too.
on that what a long strange quest, or achievement. There's Pilgrim's Bounty this week, and that is on that achievement list. So go for that.
Yeah.
And I guess in the run up to the festive season, there are some plans for us three as we go ahead. We'll announce more next show, but there's some sort of exciting stuff we're going to try throwing out for you guys listening, at
Yes,
least.
it should be entertaining. Hopefully, lots of stuff on Twitch.
It's going to be entertaining. That's for certain.
It's going to be very boring, very drear. We're all going to be like half asleep and drunk and just
Plan.
playing WoW again.
That's pretty much the festive season for me. Wrapped
Happy
up.
holidays! I just want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you all for patience when we have to move days around. But yeah, thanks for listening. You can definitely check us out, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Twitch. We are all over the place. You can also check us out on Twitter. We tweet a lot of things at Geeks of Azeroth. You can find me personally on Twitter at Tarly_pause. What about you, Zool? Where can we find you?
I am at Zulgeek.
And Britza, what about you?
And I'm at Britza_EG.
All right. And you can also send us your emails. We would love some viewer questions for the show. Send your emails to geeksofazeroteg@gmail.com. And remember to find this show plus other podcasts and other Let's Plays, stuff like that, www.epicgeeks.co.uk. Otherwise, we will see you all next week. Hopefully, never mind, not next week. I don't believe we're doing a show because there is holiday season, and we, at least myself, will be just slammed working for the holidays.
I'll
Yay.
be home, not with my computer because I don't have a gaming laptop. I have a desktop.
And Britza lives in the UK, so.
So we will be doing we'll be doing what we do every week, which is sing hallowed hymns to Her Majesty the Queen to make her happy and not kill us.
So that's what goes on over there. All right.
That's what
You
really
guys
happens.
are just literally living
it's all
in
our
Game of
passports.
Thrones, aren't you?
Yep. Get me out of here.
And with that note, everybody have a great week in Draenor, and we'll see you next week.